Good evening, Star Trek Cooking Academy. Today I'm going to be making Dr. Pulaski's chicken soup for the Enterprise Soul. If you don't remember Dr. Pulaski, you are not alone. She was on Enterprise for like one season, and she was honestly kind of boring. But she got her own recipe. I assumed that the actress submitted it, and so that's why they put it in there, because otherwise I don't think anybody would have cared if she was left out. So the first step is making matzo balls. I was supposed to have 16 ounces of the matzo ball mix, but that is expensive, and also that required like a dozen eggs to make, and we didn't have that. So I bought 2 packages of matzo ball mix, which is still only 8 ounces, and I did not have enough eggs still. So we're reducing the matzo ball recipe, and maybe I'll just make a bunch of tiny ones. It says 1 inch in diameter, but maybe I'll make them smaller so that you get more matzo balls in there. And then I've got some broth boiling on the stove. And I'm just going to be dropping these in there. Here's my little matzo balls. They'll be like dumplings. So that's fun. That's the first step, is to simmer some matzo balls. And then I'm going to have to cook the chicken for 2 hours. So I think we're going to have an alternate choice for dinner tonight for my son, because I did not expect just the chicken to take 2 hours and then all this prep work. I'm not going to have time. But that's okay. It's not like he's going to be that excited about chicken soup. I'll give it to him tomorrow. It's like a snack after school or something. So there we go. I'm going to be dropping these into some boiling water, and I'll let you know when I start on the chicken. Okay, chicken soup is much harder than I thought it was going to be. The matzo balls are falling apart, even though they're way past the time that they're supposed to be cooked. They're just falling apart. Maybe I didn't squeeze them hard enough, but it said don't make them too dense or they won't cook all the way through. So I was trying to be gentle, but now it's just matzo in there. So I'm doing the best I can with that. I'm getting the chicken. The instructions in this recipe book told me I needed to wash the chicken, and it was very important for germs. And then I was like, wait, they don't mean wash the chicken with soap, right? I thought, and then I looked it up, because you got to look stuff up to double check yourself when you don't know anything about cooking. And by wash, they meant rinse. And sometimes people use like vinegar or lemon water or something to try to kill the germs. But the CDC says don't wash your chicken as long as it's thoroughly cooked. That's what kills the germs, and rinsing it off doesn't get rid of any bacteria, which is what I suspected, because I am a public health professional. I know that rinsing isn't going to get rid of bacteria. I just thought that maybe there was like some secret thing about chicken that you had to rinse it off. So I'm not gonna do that. And you're not supposed to either, according to the CDC. You can if you want to. I'm not gonna stop you, because what do I know? But you don't need to wash your chicken as long as it's cooked thoroughly. However, after cooking the chicken for 2 hours, then I'm gonna have to cook the broth by itself for 1 hour, and then I cook the vegetables for 1.5 hours. I kind of assumed those things were all happening at the same time when I skimmed through the recipe. I need to read the recipes more carefully, because now I'm going to be up till 10 p.m. cooking this chicken soup, and I'm just going to have to microwave something for my son to eat for dinner, because this is not going well. Is chicken soup always this hard to make? I don't know. Leave me a message in the comments if you've ever made chicken soup from scratch before. But I did touch the raw chicken with my bare hands, so I'm proud of myself. I'm getting better. And I will let you guys know in like 3 hours when I'm on to the next step. So while my chicken soup cooks for the rest of eternity, I figured since my son's not going to be able to try the chicken soup for dinner, and he's going to have to wait for it, so he's kind of bummed that he's just getting microwave food, I would make him one of the other recipes that I don't usually make, which is the drinks, because like that's just a really short thing. It wouldn't be long enough for an actual video, but we can just do that in between, again, while we wait for the rest of our lives to cook some chicken soup. So I'm heating up some lactose-free milk in a saucepan, and then while it's heating, I'm going to be putting a teaspoonful of honey into it. I'm just going to eyeball it, it's not that important. And right before I serve it, I'm going to put a dash of nutmeg in there, and supposedly that is the cure-all for insomnia that Dr. Crusher invented, and it is what brought Locutus back to Captain Picard, along with the surgeries that removed his Borg implants, of course. So we'll see. Maybe it will make my son back into a sweet little boy self instead of his 6-year-old current self. We've been having a rough week. So maybe it'll be magic. We'll see. I'll let you guys know how he likes the drink at least, and let you know if I ever finish the soup. Bye. Is it good? Is it making you feel back to normal again and happy? All right. Luckily, my wife came home, obviously, while I was still making this, what I thought was going to be a 5-hour recipe. And she says, you don't need to boil that chicken for 2 hours. That's ridiculous. Take it out and see if it's done right now. I had only boiled it for about 1 hour. And yeah, it's totally done. We shredded it up, double checked. It's all done. So the chicken was done, and then it said to boil the broth by itself for an entire hour. And my wife was like, you don't need to do that. That's ridiculous. So I just boiled it for like 20 minutes. And now I have boiled the vegetables in with it until they are soft. And I'm ready to add the chicken and my sad matzo balls back in. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute with all of the ingredients back in there. And hopefully it will taste just as good as if I spent 5 hours on it. Because, I mean, we're at 4 hours. It's still a pretty long thing. But at least I'll be able to eat before I want to go to bed. Alright, here is the chicken soup with all the ingredients. I'm going to just let it simmer for like 10 more minutes to make sure everything is blended properly. If I had put both packages of matzo ball, and like it would have been actually 4 packages of the matzo ball mix that the recipe called for, there's no way it would even fit in this pot. That's ridiculous. It would be mostly dumplings, some soup. So if you ever get the Star Trek recipe book and decide to make this yourself, just use 1 small package of the matzo balls. It's really unnecessary to have more than that. So I'm gonna do what real chefs do and test my soup, make sure that the broth is good. Make sure it's cool enough now there, and we'll see if it needs some more seasoning. Could probably use a little more salt, maybe some garlic powder too, or onion salt. That could be good. So we'll just throw a couple more seasonings in there. Yeah, as you can see, it's chock full of stuff. There's no way I would have had room for more matzo balls. As you can see, my sad matzo balls are just falling apart in there, but whatever. It'll still taste good. So I'll let you know the verdict. Let this simmer for about 10 more minutes, and the ordeal is finally over, and I'm never making chicken soup from scratch again.